you think you are? Who do you think you are? I just want to start with that, because I think that we live in a world where we have our own projections. We have the projections of the outside world, and we have our own projections, and we project onto ourselves who we think we are based off of our beliefs about ourselves, based off of our self-concept, right? And the thing is, who you think you are is not who you truly are. It's just who you think you are. Just like if you think about making assumptions about a person that you don't know, right? Can you imagine, you meet this person and you might know a little bit about them, and you start right off the bat making these assumptions about them, but you haven't gotten the chance to get to know them. So there's some things that you might be correct about and some things that you may not be correct about. But at the end of the day, you're making an assumption rather than seeing that person for the complex person that they are. You are no different. So why would you assume who you are, right? In other words, why would you think you're something when you're really something else? We're all unique and complex. So who you are is expansive. That's what I can tell you without a doubt. Every single one of us is expansive, meaning there's so many things that we are capable of, and we can be who we want to be. And the question is not, are you able to be who you want to be or not? The question is, why aren't you being who you want to be? Why aren't you showing up as the person that is your ideal? Why can't you be your own hero? Why can't you be your best self? It's a question that I want you to think about. And what's the difference between the person that you admire and you? And why are you not being that? Why don't you think you can be that? So I have some homework for you. In terms of figuring out who you think you are, I want you to take some time for about a week and take a snapshot. If you can, write in your journal every day and notice, what are your patterns? What are your beliefs? What are your thoughts? Start to make note of the patterns. Patterns are so important. Patterns are the basis of our identity, right? Because really our identity, our ego is really wrapped up in a set of beliefs, a set of behaviors, and usually they're behavioral patterns. So if you can get a hold of what are your behavioral patterns, and then also take somebody that you admire, somebody that you really like, somebody that you want to be or that you wish you were like, whether they are a person that is, a friend or family member, or maybe they're, a public figure or a celebrity. But try to learn a little bit about them and understand, what do you think their beliefs are? Listen to, if it's a celebrity or a public figure, maybe listen to their interviews and get a feel for, how do they go about life? What are their belief system? What do they feel? How do they respond to situations? And start to look at the difference between how they respond and how you respond. And realize that your goal is not to become a carbon copy of them, but your goal is to understand, what are the things about them that you resonate with, that you like, that you want to be? What are the values or the principles of that person that you appreciate? And the experience that you want to have in your own conscious everyday life, right? So when you start to understand that, you can start to see and question the things that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, these patterns. What are they coming from? Why am I doing them? And how can I change them? How can I start showing up as the person I want to be? How can I start showing up? What kind of patterns and behaviors maybe can I change and switch out so that I am now showing up in my reality as the person that I want to be? What beliefs are getting in my way? That's a little homework for you. And when you do this, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some effort, but you have to ask yourself, do you want to keep living as a person that you don't resonate with, that you don't want to be? Do you want to keep living, with self-loathing? And, and the thing is about self-love versus, self-hate or self-loathing is we think when we don't like ourselves, right? It's easy to go, and this could be a whole nother video, but I'll keep it short. When we don't like ourselves, we have to dig a little deeper, right? Because if you hate yourself, is it really you that you hate, or is it that you actually just, there's certain qualities or things that you're showing up as that are not aligned with your values, right? Like, I think sometimes you can literally just not appreciate and see certain aspects of yourself, and you're being very hard on yourself. That's a certain kind of like self-hatred. But then there's also this element of, I don't like myself because I'm not being myself. I'm not truly being me. I'm being somebody else. And I'm being what other people want me to be, which is a whole different thing. And that's a whole different video. And I want to do a video going into that a little bit deeper. But going back to today's topic, which is, who do you think you are versus who you want to be? And why are you not being the person you want to be? So I think I'll make another video kind of going deeper into why aren't you showing up as the person you want to be? I think for now, I like to do things in shorter chunks. That's how I'm going to try to do things on this channel, shorter chunks. So you have a little bit to think about, because just what I said today so far, that's enough to think about. That's enough for really a couple of months of noticing your patterns. But even just to sort of start with a week and see what your patterns are. Start with a week of observing somebody else that you admire, that you appreciate, and take note of all of that. And start to understand and see what's important to you, because you'll start to understand who you are. And just as I was saying before, just like if you don't know somebody and you make assumptions about that person, that's not who they are. That's who you think they are, right? But that's not who they are. So you can't do that to yourself. Don't assume that you know who you are. There are certain elements of you that you have not taken the time to learn and uncover about yourself. So realize that you may not know really who you are yet. You're still finding yourself, likely. We all are. It's a journey, right? So who you say you are and who you think you are is not who you are, I can betcha. So if that was helpful to you, I hope that you'll consider subscribing. I'm going to be making videos hopefully every week. I'm really working on trying to make these videos every week, but this is a new channel for me, so I am doing the best that I can. But if you enjoyed anything that I said today, definitely would appreciate it if you can like this video and comment and let me know what your thoughts are on this subject, what your journey is on this subject. Do you feel like you know who you are? If so, were there things that helped you in your journey? I definitely would love to hear what you have to say. And I definitely look forward to seeing you next time. Have a beautiful, wonderful week and keep manifesting. Bye.